Harcourts Rata and Co auction number 57, Spring Street in Thomastown. My name is Robert Ozzimo and I proudly represent the company of Harcourts Rata and Co. Joined here today by the best team in the north, the award-winning Team in Blue. Should you require their advice, please feel free to approach either Leon Lascaris, Leon Alisard, Joel Viavatini, Andrew DeSanto, and of course, Mr. Julian Vocale, who no doubt you've had the pleasure of meeting throughout the marketing campaign. Buyers, let me share with you now the following announcements, which are in place to help you bid and buy with absolute confidence here today. The auction will be conducted in accordance with the rules and any additional conditions that were made available for inspection before the start of the auction. The auction rules prohibit an auctioneer from accepting bids or offers for a property after the property has been knocked down to the successful bidder. The vendors have a reserve price as the auctioneer will indicate bidders on request. The law prohibits false bids, prohibits major disruptions by bidders, and prohibits bidders attempting to prevent others from bidding, and provides for fines for such conduct. The rules permit for vendor bids. The words I'll use during the auction to indicate that I'm making a bid on behalf of the vendor are vendor bid, and by law only I, as the auctioneer, can make a vendor bid. The contract of sale has been on display prior to today's auction. We call for a 10% deposit upon the fall of the hammer and the signing of that contract to take place here today, with the balance to be paid at settlement in 30 to 60 days time, at which time the vendor will provide the lucky buyer with vacant possession of the property. All in all, it's quite a straightforward document. Everything's in there, everything is quite clear. So buyers, it is with my highest recommendation what we offer for your consideration and competition here today. Here in Spring Street, the heart of Thomastown. If we consider the location we find ourselves in, we go up Spring Street, we find the M80 Ring Road, providing simple access all across Melbourne. Plenty of school and shopping options along Edgars Road. And then if we go back the other way, we find High Street shopping, Thomastown train station. The list goes on and on. It is that location that provides a great lifestyle. It is that location that provides great capital growth. Add to that a great home. They don't build them like this anymore. A great home that's been immaculately maintained and loved over the years by the current owner. You can feel those memories. The moment you walk through the door, it just feels like home. A free-flowing floor plan situated here on the corner with side access. Ticks absolutely every single box for the investor, absolutely every single box for the first home buyer, and ticks every single box for you and your family. So if you would like to take advantage of the opportunity before you today and to apply the salt sticker to the board when all is said and done, now buyers, is your time to reserve that right. Where can I see a fair and reasonable starting bid for 57 Spring? Who'd like to start us off? Time to spring into action, buyers. Up to you. I don't mind the call. This is your moment, your say. I can tell you one thing, which is absolutely clear. We will sell here today. We have set a reserve with that end goal in mind, a very reasonable reserve to get the job done. So if you'd like to take advantage and put yourself in the box seat, this is your moment to do just that. This is your opportunity to put yourself in the box seat and to stake your claim, buyers. Takes a brave soul to start, but fortune favours the brave. Who'd like to start us off? Might as well take a moment to let the cars pass. I don't mind the call, buyers. I'm in your hands. This is your moment. I know that we have a few buyers among us here today that have come to get the salt sticker up. This is your chance to secure that right. I don't mind the call, buyers. I'm in your hands. A few shy bidders among us here today. I know it's always hard at the start when we ask for a bit of money. At 700,000, you kept me hanging for that one, sir, but I welcome you very much to the bidding and the best of luck here today. At 700,000, there's the bid, there's the competition. If you've come to buy, let me know now. At 700,000, even money fairly been offered now at 7. At 700 the bid. At 700,000, bids there at 700,000 now. At 700 the bid. At 700,000 for the first call at 700,000. Are we done? At 700,000 twice. At 700 the bid. Are we done? Finished. At 700,000 for the third and final call. At 700,000, the bid's there, the opportunity with you all. At 700 the bid. If you've come to buy, now's the time. At 700,000 once. At 700,000 twice. Third. 50. At 750. At 750,000, a great bid. at 750. Enter in the proceedings with strength. That's how you buy. At 750,000. At 750 now. Don't let it put you off. It's just a big bid. You can make one too. At 60 now, I'll take short of my stride for you at 60. And the same courtesy at 10 if you like. At 760,000. 70 can I say. At 760,000, the bid's behind. At 760, fairly bid and offered. At 760,000 now. At 760, sir, would it help you to say that I'm on the market and selling? I'm not going inside. I'm out here till we sell. At 760, you can grab those keys back if you want, but they're there now. At 760 I have, sir. Got to be 70 in the rise at least. At 70 now. At 770,000. At 770,000. We're on the market. We're selling. If you're waiting for a half-time break, not going to happen. At 75, not going to happen. 75, the bid's there, the keys are there. My instructions have been sought, they have been given, they are to sell. I'm out here till we sell. At 775,000, if you've come to buy, bid me now if ever hold your peace. At 775, the bid's there. Against your bid, sir, I'll take 5 in the rise if it helps, but I dare say 10 will be a better bid and put you in a stronger position. At 775,000. At 775, the bid. Once at 775, all done. At 80 and welcome back at 80. At 780,000. At 780 the bid now. At 780,000 the bid's back there at 780. At 90 now. At 790,000 round me off to 800 sir. Might be first to 8 wins. At 790,000 fairly been offered. We play for keeps here today. No second chances once it's sold. No late bids once it's sold. At 790,000 the bid's there. At 90. At 790,000 first call at 790,000. Are we all done? At 790,000, second call at 790 the bid. Are we done? Are we finished? At 95, welcome, best of luck, never too late till the hammer falls. At 95 now. At 795, fresh bidding, you have to respond quickly, show strength. At 795, at 800 now. At 800,000, still the opportunity here at 8 against your bid, sir. One bid, not enough here today, although it was a great one. At 800,000 now, bids to your keys are here. If you've come for the keys, you've got to dig deep right now. At 800, the bid's here. What do you say?
Just give me a...
I'll give you a moment, I'll circle around and get my steps in. At 800,000, at 800,000, fairly been offered bid there. At 805 now, at 805,000, that's the thing about opportunities, so if you don't take them with in front of you, someone else will. At 805 and the bid's there, the keys are there, opportunity still with you though if you want it, you can grab those keys back. At 805,000, fairly been offered. At 805 the bid and one at 806. At 806,000, the best response to a small bid is always a big bid, show strength to buy. At 806,000, the bid's there, the keys are there. At 7 now, at 807. At 807,000. At 807,000, fairly been offered. How about 10, sir? At 807, the bid, we sell here today. If there's no further bidding, we'll sell at that. At 807,000, if you have come to buy, at 808 now, if you have come to buy, show me now, bid me now, or forever hold your peace. At 808,000 bid here at 10. At 810,000. At 810,000 bid back there, back against you, sir. The keys are there as it stands. At 810,000 fairly been offered. At 810 the bid. At 810,000 bids there, keys there. We sell once. At 8. Welcome back, sir, at 811,000 now. At 811 the bid. At 811,000 fairly been offered now. Was that a bid? At 12. At 812. 3 in it still. At 13. That's better, sir. That's the spirit. At 813 now. At 813,000 bid there. Back against you at 813 the bid. At 813,000, how are we faring across the road, Jules? At 813 the bid. Fairly been offered. Nice and quiet on this side of the street at 813. At 813,000, fairly been offered. Once at 813. Are we all done? At 15 now and a better bid. 16. At 816, the quick retort at 1 at 17 now. At 18. At 818. At 818, the bid. At 20. At 820 and 21. At 821. How about 25 in the rise? At 821, the bid's there. At 821,000, fairly been offered now. 821, the bid. First call at 821,000. Done. 22 now at 822. At 3 at 823 the bid. At 4 and 5 and 6 if you like. Or 30's better. At 825 the bid. At 8 1/4 now. At 825,000 the bid. We're on the market. We sell. Keys in play. At 825 now. Bids here with Joel. At 825,000 once. At 825 all done. Second call at 825,000 done. Finished. At 826 now, 7. At 826, Yeah, you had that banter going, so you had the momentum. 826 the bids there. At 827, welcome back at 827. I'm sorry that I ever doubted you. At 28 now. At 828 the bid. At 29. At 829 and 30 it's got to be. At 829,000 bids back on this side of the street. Jules at 829. At 829,000 fairly been offered now. At 829,000. At 829 the bid. We sell away. There's no better bid than that. At 30 now got. At 31. At 831,000. At 33, at 832 and 3 now, at 833, at 833,000 fairly been offered, bids coming from all angles now at 833 the bid, at $833,000 the bid, once at 833 done, twice at 833,000 done, finished, third at 4, 5, at 835. So the ones aren't working for you. How about we try a bigger bid? Take me to 40 at 835,000. Bids there. We've seen you around, so I know you know what's going on in the market. Still good buying at that at 835,000. The bids there, it's against you at 835. At 835,000 once. 6. At 835,000 at 6 now. At 830. At 37, I was going to assume 40. I don't know why. At 8, at 838, can I say 40 now? At 9, at 839, 40 if you like. At 839,000 and 40 got and 41. At 841,000 the bid. At 841 the bid. See at my left, your right, opportunity with you, but the keys are here as it stands. At 841 the bid now. At 841,000. At 841,000. Sir, we done over here? Definitely done. Thank you so much for your interest and your spirited bidding here today. At 841. Bids there, keys are there. Last chance, if you tell me you're out, so I will sell. If you've come to buy, I must know now because we sell away here today at 841,000. The bids here and the keys are here at 42 now. At 842. At 842, how about 45 in the rise? At 842, the bid's back here now. 842, 3 or 45? 3? I've got ones. I said 45 and you put your hand up, so I assume that you took my advice at 844. At 844, it's 44? 43 at 843. At 843,000. At 843,000, bid back here, my left again, your right at 843, 44 now. Now it's going to be 45 and 45 got at 845,000. At 845,000, how about we try 50, sir? At 845,000, fairly been offered now at 845, bid here, keys here, we sell at 845 the bid. Once at 845, at 6 and at 8. You had me off there at 848,000. At 848,000, bid there. 50 beckons now, surely. At 50 got. At 8, just a round number. Don't let it scare you off. At 850,000, might be the mental barrier for the competition. 850 the bid. At 850,000 and the bids here. The keys are here. If you've come to buy, dig deep right now. At 850 the bid. Once at 850,000 and 51 now at 851. At 851,000. Shake of the head, not how you buy, so only like this. At 851,000, fairly been offered at 851 the bid. First call at 851, all done. 51.5. At 51.5, an easy bid to beat, surely. At 851.5. At 52. At 852,000. At 852 the bid. Small bids help the competition come along. Big bids buy property at 852 the bid. At 852,000, fairly been offered now. At 852, just double checking this side of the crowd. We are selling here today at 852 the bid. Bids here, keys here, we sell once at 852, all done. Second call at 852,000, done and finished for the third and final call at $852,000 the bid, all done, all finished at 53, at 853 now at 853, 54 if you like, 55 is better, at 853 in the bids here at 853,000, at 853,000 bids here, keys are here, we sell here today at 853, at 853 the bid, once at 853, all done, twice at 853, at 55 and a great bid at that at 855, at 855,000, at 855, bids there, keys are there, you might have done the trick now, sir, at 855,000, he tells me they're out, at 855 the bid, first call at 855, done, we're definitely done, thank you once more, at 855,000, second call at 855, done, finished, third, final call, 855,000, all done, finished, silent and out at 855. We're definitely done. Can't get you back in for another half. 855 500. Definitely done. Thank you very much for your spirited bidding here today. At 855,000, they all tell me they're out, sir. Once, twice, third, final call. $855,000 the bid. We are selling, selling, selling. Sold. Congratulations and well bid. Please join me in welcoming the new owners of Spring Street here, and of course our vendors. You've just witnessed another successful Harcourts, Rata & Co auction. Have a great weekend. We'll see you again soon. Thank you. Well done, mate. Congratulations.
Thanks, mate.
Well